As we have South Range girls coach Kelsey Malenic on the line and actually on the video chat. South Range girls soccer coach. Coach, how are we doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I love the gear. I love the representation, the swag.
Straight from practice.
That's what I love, straight from practice. And talk about, well, since you're coming straight from practice, talk about what the group is looking like now. And as we get closer and closer to the season, what some of the prospects are for South Range girls soccer.
I'm excited about this year. We have about 7 seniors this year. That's the most seniors we've had in a long time. So that's something that's going to be huge for us. We only lost 3 girls last year. 2 of them were starters. So it'll be tough to fill some of their shoes that we lost last year with Bree Kohler especially. She was a huge part of our offense last year with goals and assists. And she was just a hard player to replace for sure. But I knew that was going to happen last year. So I kind of was grooming them last year to get ready for this. So I do expect some younger underclassmen to step up a little bit more than they even did last year. But I think we're ready. I mean, we basically have the same team as last year, minus a few girls. So that's pretty exciting for me.
And you made a deep tournament run last year. You lost eventually to Kirtland, but having such a deep tournament run, that's got to excite some of your younger kids to come in the next year and really put in the work to make another one, right?
Yeah, for sure. The expectations are definitely higher now. We know we can make it a little bit further than the program has in the past. So I told them, I said, listen, I know what you guys can do now. We basically have the same girls. And with this program, we are a smaller school. And like the other coaches that have been on have said, we don't have a lot of youth situations going on. And you really have to work with what you have compared to Boardman. I mean, he struggles with having kids come into high school from the youth transition, and we're a way smaller community. So it's definitely a struggle, but I understand it. And that's something that's important to get rolling with us as well.
But in the big picture, I mean, South Range soccer has grown so much in such a short period of time. I remember when I was in like high school and middle school, it was only a club sport. It wasn't a varsity sport yet. And now all of a sudden, not only is it a varsity sport, but it's a varsity sport that kids are making deep tournament runs, both boys and girls. What's it like seeing such a dramatic growth in such a short period of time for that program?
It's awesome. I mean, I'm a Poland girl, so I'm used to playing as a little kid. I played club, and then when you get to the high school level, it's competitive. We played tough teams at Poland, and I think South Range they're working their way up to be a similar program, to be a higher level playing team. Our schedule, we play a lot of D2 teams, but we really are D3. We barely play D3 teams during our season. And I think that is the key to what got us as far as we did last year. I mean, we opened up last year. Granted, we we didn't show up as well as I'd hoped, but we played Hoban last year, and they were like ranked top 3 in Ohio for D1. So that was a very strong team. We play a whole D2 schedule, and then coming down to the tournament when we're playing D3 teams, we showed up and we showed that we played a really hard schedule and we deserved to make it as far as we did.
As a Poland girl, when Poland pops up on that schedule, does that game just mean a little bit more to you?
A little bit. And last year we didn't lose to them, and that was a goal for me because the year I was the assistant coach 3 years, and last year was my first year as the head coach. And the past years we've lost to them. We came close, we tied, but last year we beat them and we tied them, and they were very tough games, and it did mean a lot to me.
What is the youth situation like with the South Range program and some of the things that you guys do to develop kids before they get to you in high school?
Yeah, so the youth program, we do have some youth programs. It's not nearly as much as I'd like it to be. Last year was tough. I had really high hopes in having some kind of a better youth program, getting my girls more involved, camps, but with COVID, that kind of got put on the back burner. So now this year that the focus is more playing soccer. We have a season. We don't really have to worry about all that quite yet, but hopefully not again. But the focus is to really build the whole program, work with the boys team as well. Zach Stamp, he's a new coach as well. Last year, we both were first-year head coaches, and I think we proved ourselves. We both have experience with the game. We made it far. We connect to the girls and the boys because we are younger, but we are experienced, and I think it was very helpful.
I mean, the whole fall season last year at South Range was just a whirlwind of success with you guys, the boys soccer team, the girl with the football team. What was it like kind of going through that and seeing like you guys play in a regional semifinal one night and the boys football team's playing in the regional finals the next night? I believe it was back to back. You guys played Kirtland the next night after South Range did. What was that like to kind of be a part of that whirlwind of success in the fall sports for South Range?
I mean, it was awesome, and the whole community was really into it, and the younger kids, it was good to see everyone. And after having to deal with COVID and not really getting out much, everyone really appreciated it even more. Everyone was excited to go to the games. My phone was ringing off the hook with everything, and it was awesome. And the football team, Mr. Yeagley, he's awesome, and he was really fun to support, and he really supported us as well. And same with the boys team. It was just something, honestly, the school hasn't been quite used to a lot, but the past couple of years, I mean, we've definitely made a name for ourselves.
We have to talk about Gabby Lamparty because we keep getting told that on the soccer field, it's just something very special. What's it like to coach a talent like that, and just put into words for some of the people that maybe don't know soccer as well as the other sports, and we've definitely seen her in the basketball, but put into words just how much of a unique talent that Gabby has on the soccer field.
Well, I'm lucky to have her, that's for sure. I'm glad she's on my team, not somebody else's. She's been great. Freshman year, she came in. A lot was expected from her as a freshman, which I know can be tough, but she showed what she was capable of. And over the 3 years, I've been able to witness her grow into a very mature player. She is getting better and better each year. She works her butt off. She comes to practice in the morning. She goes to another training session in the afternoon. I was at the school late the one night for a meeting, and she was at the stadium running bleachers. So, I mean, she's just very dedicated. The sport means so much to her. I think last year she got the recognition she should have. She was an all-state player. She even qualified for, I think it was the U15 national team. And she was supposed to go to Argentina and play, but COVID unfortunately canceled that. But she's just a phenomenal player, very skilled, very smart. She has really good field vision, and she makes the right decisions when you need her to. And when we get down to the last parts of the game and the season, when we're playing the tougher teams and we're down a goal or we need a goal, she's the girl that's going to step up. It doesn't matter how old she is. She was only a sophomore last year, and she just led the league. I mean, she did an amazing job. I'm very proud of her. I'm proud of how much she's matured and grown, and I'm excited to have her for 2 more years.
That's scary, like 2 more seasons
Yeah.
with that, and when you say that she keeps getting better, that's probably making the people that have to play you sweat a little bit because she was already good enough as a sophomore. Talk about how do you kind of stay away from the team, not you, but this team, stay away from a little bit of complacency from so much success last year and the ability to come back and say, hey, we're starting nothing and nothing, and we have to do just as much work this year as we did last year to get to where we want to be?
I'd say for us, it's easy because we're not really used to making it this far. Last year, the girls were just so fired up that we made it that far. It meant a lot to them. And I had the talk with them today. I said, listen, we made it so far last year. We were so good last year. We can do that again. And I literally have to remind them, like, we are good. We still are good. And we need to remember that, because we show up and sometimes we do, when we play the bigger schools, they just have it in their head sometimes, oh, we're smaller, we're not as good, but we are. So I do have to remind them a lot of the times. So I don't think they're complacent at all.
Someone as passionate about soccer as obviously you are, what's it like seeing girls soccer in particular be on the main stage and really grow as much as it is in this country with obviously the success of the national team and what they've been able to do the last 5-6 years? What's it like for you to kind of take a step back and see the growth of girls soccer, not just in the area but in the country as a whole?
It's exciting to see. I grew up playing the sport my whole life. I love the sport. I played in college. I love it enough to coach it. It's good. I think we're finally getting the recognition we should. Instead of other sports taking our players, we're taking those girls from other sports. I have a few. They used to play volleyball. They used to do other sports like cross country, and they decided, or cheerleaders even. we're starting to be more popular and more desired, and it's definitely exciting.
And we've obviously talked about Gabby Lamparty, but who are some of the other leaders on this team that you're going to lean on to find success, and maybe some of the vocal leaders that are going to be emotional linchpins in the South Range program?
I mean, we have a very strong senior class. They've A lot of them have been 3-year starters, 4-year starters. A lot of them, they've had a lot of time. So my whole senior class is going to be exciting to watch. Gabby, obviously, this is her junior year. I have Hannah Ritchie. She's a senior, but Hannah Ritchie, she's another one. She's big. She plays club over the off season, and she's going to be a key part to our team. She can play. I could put her in a few different places, and that's a lot of these girls. They can play in a few different positions, which coming in last year, I didn't care where they played before. I'll play them in that spot a little bit, but if I need you somewhere else, you're going to go there and play. And they did last year, and I shuffled people around like crazy. And I think with Hannah Ritchie, she could play midfield, defense. She could play offense anywhere. Lexi Giles, she's going to be huge for us this year. She could play midfield and defense. Gabby can play anywhere. I could throw her in the goal if I needed to. She's phenomenal. I have Abby McCabe. She didn't play last year because of COVID, but I think people are going to be pretty surprised to see some of her talents. And then I have my 2 sophomores, Devin Sauerwine and Sydney Pennick. I really groomed them last year, knowing that I was going to be losing Bree. Those 2 were in and out of the game back and forth all season last year, just to get them time and get them more comfortable. So I'm excited. I think we really do have majority of our team returning. So it'll be hard to try and scout us, because I could move people everywhere.
You talked about it. You were an assistant for 3 years before taking this job. Who's on your staff, and what kind of things do they bring to the program as assistant coaches?
So my assistant coach is Julia Dundon, and she's a Salem girl. So she came in. She was great last year. Very similar. Her and I have very similar personalities and understanding of the game. She played a little bit in college as well. So I just think us being a little bit younger and changing up the style of play a little bit. I think changing it up and modernizing it a little bit more and having different styles of play is really what helped us utilize our talents last year, and same plan to do that this year.
You look at your schedule, and like you said before, you play up a lot. What kind of benefits to having a schedule like that do for you when you get into tournament and you're seeing a lot of Division III teams?
Like I said, last year we played Hoban to start. This year we're playing Canfield to start. I mean, growing up in Poland, Canfield's our rival, so I know what Canfield is capable of. Their coach, Phil Simone, he's a great coach. I had him when I was younger, when I played club. So I know they always have a lot of talent, and they bring different skills to the table than when you play a D3 team. It's just a known fact. You play a D1 school, they have a little bit more skill and talent and style of play that if we see that early on and throughout the whole season, I think it just really benefits us later down the road when we play our tournament games. We made it last year, our first tournament game, we won 10-2 last year. So I think playing those tougher schedules is something that once we get to that point and we see these teams that are more geared to be D3 teams, we show up big time.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us today. It was great to have you on. We definitely look forward to covering a lot of South Range girls soccer and boys soccer throughout the season. And we're looking forward to a successful one, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me.
All right, Coach. Have a good one, and go Raiders.
Thank you.